Hello, angel babies. Welcome or welcome back. My name is Trisha, and this is Trisha's Temple. Thanks for being here. Today, we are going to talk about the Forest Maiden, and she is an archetype of thresholds, of feeling like there is some sort of barrier or moment of maybe fear, something that's been holding you back or keeping you from a new season of your life, but you're ready to step into the unknown. The Forest Maiden takes that first step. She's a lot like the Fool in that way, but she is right at the edge of the forest, and she takes the first step into the forest, and she begins to explore what it's like inside the forest, to feel the earth under her feet, to touch the trees, to meet the animals, to spend time exploring and meeting herself in the new environment. So I want to look at what this archetype looks like inside of you, who she is inside of you, and why she's coming up for you at this time. What is the threshold that you're experiencing? What new territory, path, or version of yourself are you standing on the edge of right now? It's funny, right before I started this, there were so many noises going on. Like there were multiple planes flying overhead, there was a dog barking, there was a really loud car that passed, all the birds and just bugs, everything going on all at once, and I could just hear it all. And I was like, okay, like I gotta start the video. And maybe you've been feeling a little bit like that, like I just gotta start. I just gotta do it. I just gotta make that first step, even if it's not perfect, even if it's not exactly the way that you had envisioned or dreamed, because often the first step is a little bit tentative, hesitant, messy. It's like the first day of school. You don't generally have it all figured out at that point. You're still getting to know the territory, figuring out where your classes are, meeting all the new people in your classes, figuring out where you're going to sit, reading the syllabus. Okay, these are the cards that came out. There were quite a few for what this new territory, path, or version of yourself is. We have the Eight of Visions, the Ten of Challenges. Oh dear. There was a bee or something right there. The Child of Boons, and the Folly, which looks like the tower. The Folly, that's a fun way of putting it. Okay, so if I'm going to look at all of this together, this Eight of Visions feels honestly a lot like the Maiden, a bit like exploring the path. there may have been some like large emotional upheaval that feels like it's kind of forcing your hand to move into this new version of yourself. Maybe put you into a dark night of the soul, or it's just making you reevaluate yourself and your life, the path that you've been on. You might feel a bit like life has been like repeatedly cutting you down, and you've been looking for yourself in a lot of different places, and maybe you don't feel like you've found yourself in any of those places. Um, the this like child of boons, like the story of Hansel and Gretel, and perhaps there were things that felt alluring or tempting. Um, like, oh, like maybe if I go in that direction, it will hold some sort of satisfaction, whether that be a relationship or a job or some sort of substance, some sort of even like learning about something with like a whole lot of intensity, and like pouring all of yourself into something external, feeling like it would sustain you or fulfill you, and maybe it didn't. Maybe you still had that kind of empty feeling. And when I'm saying any of this, this could be like a lot more present feeling, or it could be something from your past that you're now moving through, and you're coming to a new threshold, a new point of, okay, well, that didn't work out so well. So, what am I going to do now? I need to enter this new forest that perhaps you had been afraid of in the past. I think that there are times in your life where it's like you go down all of these different like wrong roads, the avenues that feel like what you were expected to do or you thought were what you wanted, and then you end up faced with a path that you're like, I really didn't want to do that, but then there's also this part of you that's like, maybe I always did. Maybe I always knew that I would end up here. I just had to close all of those other doors first. I don't know if you guys can hear this background noise. It's an airplane. It sounds a little bit different with the microphone. Um, there might be still a lot of like background noise and feedback that you've been getting from people in your life, from systems, from societal expectations of like, this is the way that your life is supposed to go. These are the boxes you're supposed to check to be a successful person. Um, Maybe it's like you go to school, graduate from high school, then you go to college, or maybe in your family it was like you're supposed to go to trade school, or maybe in your family it was you were supposed to be in the circus, or I don't know, whatever it was for your specific family trajectory and you decided to deviate from that path. And I think that where you're at right now might be a deviation from the path, or a further deviation than even something that you had done already. Like maybe you had already deviated and you're like, really? Another one? Another one? I thought we had already deviated enough. We'd already gotten off the beaten path enough. Okay, so now I want to know what energy has been building up along this time within you that is asking to move or be expressed. This could be like a very, oh, restless energy. This could be a curiosity, creativity, a desire, or a fear. And the card that came out is strength. So the story that's coming to my mind is actually from the TV series Once Upon a Time. The story of Little Red, where you end up finding out that she is both Little Red Riding Hood and the wolf. I think that maybe you are realizing that your shadows, the things that you're afraid of, are also your deepest desires. That there might be some things that have been hiding underneath the surface, maybe a lot deeper, or like quite just like barely under the surface, that are ready to come up and be met and be held. And maybe you've been resisting them for a while. But as you begin to embrace them, like as Little Red met the part of herself that was the wolf, she found a way to work with it instead of against it, and for it to not be this enemy that lived within her, but like a power, a strength, a force to help people, instead of one that's just like coming out at random times and killing people because she didn't even know it was happening. And her grandmother actually was trying to protect her from it by like not telling her that she was the wolf, but at the end of the day, like, she was still killing people, it was still happening. And there was a lot of grief that happened because she found out that she was killing all of these people. So maybe there is something from your childhood, from your past, that you feel like, okay, like now I'm seeing a ladybug. Maybe that's a synchronicity for you. That feels like a thread that you can pull on, and instead of being at odds with it, you can use it for like your advantage, and also like to benefit other people, to show them, hey, like this is something that I have within me, and now I'm using it to benefit me. You can do that too. Yeah. I think that there might be more than one thing that is craving, one fear that's really a hidden desire that's wanting to come forward. I actually want to find out more specifically what that might be. We have the Five of Boons and the Weaver of Boons. Yeah, this honestly just feels like a reiteration of the same thing, is that you might have, this energy might have felt left out in the cold, like it's been trying to fend for itself, like this little orphan child, and you are bringing it into the warmth and giving it new purpose. It might specifically be related, because these are both boons, more to something to do with your sense of stability, safety, security, financial or material well-being. Even I'm thinking, because both of these kind of have a feeling of like food, it might have something to do with like your relationship with food, or the way that you um, yeah, just the way that you relate to food. But there might be a more gentle way to approach that, a more loving way. That might not be for you, but if it is, let me know. Okay, the next question is, where have you been overexerting yourself in trying to figure out all the answers, trying to have the whole plan mapped out before you make a move? One of the things about the Maiden is that she takes the first step before she really has it all mapped out. She doesn't know everything. She's willing to feel into just like, what is the next thing, instead of what are the next 3,000 things. I'm thinking of that. Is that a Jonas Brothers song? The year 3000. Year 3000. Not much has changed, but yeah. Yeah. Great, great, great granddaughter is doing fine. Okay. Keeper of Boons. Goodness, lots of Boons energy. So we had the Queen of Boons, or Weaver of Boons, which would be the Queen of Pentacles. And now we have the King of Pentacles, or the Keeper of Boons. And he looks very happy, just vibing in his little cave. Got a lot of crystals, just his badger, his honey badger. Shout out to all of the Hufflepuffs. Um, I think the way that you might be overexerting yourself and trying to figure everything out, you might be really stressed about finances. You might be stressed about um, something related to like career or um, like building a business, trying to find a new job, and just figuring out what's the next. Like how is it all going to come together for you? There might be a lot of overthinking and trying to plan it all out from start to finish instead of allowing it to just unfold and unravel little by little. Allowing yourself to stay connected to the things that keep you grounded, keep you centered in yourself and your own energy. And also basking in the things that are working out for you, while also allowing yourself the space to like let the fear kind of wash over you. But you don't have to pretend it's not there, pretend that everything's hunky dory and you don't need to find a job or make money, because that's part of living in the society that we do. But I think that you might feel a little bit like at odds with the parts of you that are like, oh, I really believe that this is going to work out, and trusting the process. And then the part of you that feels like you need to be like constantly in the grind or working on something at every moment until you see the fruits of your labor. And I think that this card is just a reminder that it is a process, and you won't see the harvest of things that you've planted immediately, but they will come. And there are things that you're already seeing, like you're reaping the rewards of, that you planted a long time ago if you look back. And maybe that's a way that you can kind of reaffirm or support, comfort yourself and be like, oh, remember when I was so afraid that this thing wasn't going to work out? And like, look at where I am now. But it's also okay to be afraid, because fear is just a part of life. And um, it's a sign that that you want something. You're excited about something, even if it doesn't feel very comfortable. And you don't have to act on your fear, but you can let it exist. And let it ride, wave, crest, and fall. Okay, the next question is, where is life inviting you to pause, wander, or just experience without needing to understand what's happening or how it's going to all work out? I imagine the maiden entering the forest along the path and beginning to just look at the trees, meeting some deer and some birds, maybe noticing some etchings, collecting some rocks maybe, and then finding some sort of meadow to lie down in and spending some time doodling or writing her thoughts out, and not because of any other purpose than just for sake of expression, just for the experience, because it feels nice to process in that way. Maybe she just lies in the grass and feels the earth underneath her. She listens to the animals around her. She sees the light dancing in the shadows. All right, let's see what's going to come out. We have the Three of Boons. And so many boons. It's a big theme today. Three of Pentacles. So a way that life could be inviting you to just slow down and experience, just be, might be through some sort of collaborative experience as a butterfly. Allowing for the people in your life to offer their perspective, and not because you need to change your mind or that you're doing anything wrong, but just maybe to help you get out of your own head or to imagine things from a new perspective. A new vantage point. You may still end up back exactly doing the things in the same way that you had originally planned, but maybe seeing things through their eyes will give you that clarity. This also just feels like playing around with recipes or spells, if you're into that. Getting insights from other people on things that they are really passionate about or enjoy doing, and just allowing yourselves to play in that. I mean, in this card, we have even the birds input. So maybe you're getting input from the plants and the animals around you, or the spirit of your home, incorporating more of the energies of even things like um, the technology in your home, the objects that you use, whatever things you're interacting with on a regular basis, or getting outside of your normal routine. This is another interpretation. And maybe going to a different place. There's a bug flying around me. I don't know where it just landed. Yeah, like maybe you always go to this one coffee shop, but instead for one day you just decide to go to a different one, just for the experience. Or you decide to take a day off of work because you want to clear your head and find more creative solutions. Something about shaking up the energy. Okay. What would it look like to explore your life without needing a clear purpose or outcome right now? So maybe you do have some particular reason for entering the forest, something that you were leaving behind, or something that you're moving towards, probably a combination of both. Even if you don't know exactly what it is that you're moving towards, you might have this like sense of urgency to figure out what it is that you should be moving towards. But what would it feel like if you could kind of let go of any needs to run at all? Run away, run towards, and just to be. You know, there's the whole conversation about like runners versus chasers, avoidance versus anxiously attached. It's really just two sides of the same coin, because in either case you are running. It just matters the direction. You know, like when you're playing tag as a kid, both of you are running, just one person's running away, one person's running towards. And then a lot of times you switch. And the only way to stop the game, is to stop running. Maybe somebody needed to hear that. All right. Weaver of Visions. Let's read about her. This weaver. The Weaver of Visions is a shape-shifting enchantress, and the sacred lake is her place of magical transformation. The water surface is a boundary line between the worlds, a threshold where she crosses from one state of being to the other. The Weaver is most herself in the watery realms, though she can sometimes be seen among the trees if you look quickly enough. Whether as a woman or as the leaping salmon, she acts on instinct, surrendering without question to the yearnings of her heart. She is the elusive one, the glimmering girl. She is love at first sight. She is poetry. If this card does not represent a particular person, it can mean a solution that comes through imagination and intuition rather than logic or analysis. Listen to your heart and trust its guidance. This card's character traits are dreamy, intuitive, psychic, empathic, emotionally sensitive, graceful, subtle, a bit mysterious, devotes herself to those she deeply loves. Her shadow traits are changeable, moody, hypersensitive, hard to read, passive, plays the victim, overwhelmed by the emotions and needs of others, tends toward depression. This card is reminding me of one of my other archetypes that I will be doing a reading on in the near future, the Siren Oracle. And I feel like this energy is one of allowing yourself to connect to your own depth, that the stillness that you create for yourself instead of running will crack you open. And perhaps that's part of why if you relate to feeling the need to fill your life with doing things, which I think that we all do that to some extent, can be uncomfortable to sit with yourself. It requires a lot of love and gentleness to meet those aspects of yourself. I mean, as we were saying with the where is it? The card, the strength card, that the one of the big purposes of you, or like why you've been having all of this like upheaval of energy, is because you have some fears coming to the surface. And what it will feel like to stop running from those fears and meet them face to face. Initially, it might feel like a lot of danger and like you're being flooded with all of the fear all at once. It might feel like the exact opposite of what you should be doing. Because, I mean, our body